Hello, I'm Johan De Bruin. I make educational games for a living, and today we're going to take a look at one of my favorite games, Democracy, specifically Democracy 4. It is a game that was released a couple of weeks ago in early access. You will adopt the role of a newly elected president in a democratic country. Through the adoption of policies and political decisions, you must sway the opinion of the public to become more popular and be re-elected. The game uses data visualization techniques as an interface. So for example, the blue circles indicates metrics of the state of the country, like GDP or alcohol consumption. The white circles is policies. You can use political capital to influence this. It can be things like increasing income tax or expanding the budget of state schools. You can also use political capital to introduce new policies. Some of them are things like small business grants, but others they can get pretty obscure, like enforcing singing the national anthem in schools. Lastly, the red circles are problems that your nation faces, from alcohol abuse to obesity, for example. Every circle in Democracy 4 they can influence others, shown as arrow crossing through the screen. The game plays by turns. After a series of turns, a vote will be cast. If your term has convinced enough people, you will be re-elected and you might continue playing. Also, every turn, different events will happen, sometimes requiring to decide how to address an international problem, like appointing the right ambassador, or some sort of domestic dispute, like allowing a company to frack. Alternative, if you piss off an extremist group, you might have an assassination attempt. If they succeed, it's also game over. The game feels like an artificial neuronal network, where through policies, you can change the weight value of the neurons and bit by bit change the outcome of the game. Overall, I enjoy playing the game and experiencing the different outcomes of individual decisions. I realized that governing a country is more complicated than it seems. It gives you a sense of empathy by having to leverage different views like capitalists, socialists, farmers, trade unions, wealthy, poor. Alright, let's talk about scoring the game. Remember, I always score the game by using 3 different factors. Gameplay, where I evaluate how fun the game can be played. Polish, where I evaluate things like graphics, animations, music. And educational value, where I evaluate how much I can learn by playing the game. As a disclaimer, I factor the fact that the game is in early access, so I expect some things to be implemented like the rest of the nations, balance, and a little bit more polish. For gameplay, as long as you enjoy this kind of strategy games, the game can be very entertaining. I wanted to play about an hour to get material for this video, but I ended up playing more than an 4. I think that there are some areas of improvements, perhaps some sort of social features like interacting with other players' government. Also, late game feels off as you will always get 100% of the votes and implement all meaningful policies. I rate this category at 7 over 10. For polish, the game features basic graphics with icons. There are a few illustrations here and there, but nothing major. For every mean and purpose, this works, but it could be improved, like adding some sort of cinematic when you unlock a new policy, similar to how Civilization features Building a Wonder. On and off, the graphics have not been improved since Democracy 3, which is why I'm only giving this category a 5 over 10. Finally, for educational value, I need to say that this being an implicit educational game, where the game doesn't test your knowledge all the time, as opposed to games like Math Blasters, it is pretty educational. My understanding of government and policies, my understanding of sociology and economy has increased as I play the game. It also motivated me to engage with government and political news. This is why I decided to give it a rate of 7 over 10, which is not something I will do for a non-educational game. But yeah, this is totally worth it. This concludes the video. Thank you very much for watching until the end. If you enjoyed it, please consider giving it a like and subscribe. See you next time.